Welcome to the Sonia Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Hi there, everyone. This is your girl, Sonia Buchanan, with the Sonia Buchanan Show. This is our intro, leeway into our discussion. And I want to tell you it is going to be interesting, but we're going to talk about reading is fundamental. So I want you to enjoy and listen to the end. It is really remarkable, and I hope you enjoy it. Listen, you guys, the next segment will be the discussion. Reading is fundamental. Bye, you guys. Great day, everyone. It is time for the Sonia Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Great day, everyone. We have a delightful show for you today. And let me give you that title. It's called Reading is Fundamental. Man, you guys, I have been consuming just documents and reading, and it just kind of laid in front of me. And I just picked it up and I just started consuming the information. And I really don't think it was just I stumbled over it. I think it was probably my steps was just ordered, and I was really lingering, trying to find some information about something, and it just fell right in my lap. And I have just been consuming the information, and it has been very gratifying. And that's what I want to talk to you all about. And again, our title is Reading is Fundamental. A couple of years ago, probably many years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, I remember when we were going through this analog to digital time, they also was introducing that they were thinking about taking the actual books off the shelves and also changing books into digital. And they were trying to cause the books to no longer be in existence. And all the people who are writers and readers and the reading fanatics and the book writers and publishers and people like me, I call the author nerds, maybe that's not a great term, and maybe that term will offend someone calling the nerd, but, just work with me right here. All those people who are really just gravitate on when you're reading, they love to touch the pages of the book. They love to hold the book pages. Me, personally, I love hardback books. That is one of the things that I do. If I'm purchasing a book, I look for the hardback. I don't care how much it costs. The paperback book could cost $10. If the hardback book costs $20, I'm getting the hardback books because I like to see them in my bookshelves. They look so much better to me. And in fact, I am actually the place where I published The Journey now offer the services of hardback. And I'm thinking about really changing my book, The Journey, into a hardback because I like it so much. And I remember at the time when they were trying to just get rid of all the books and no longer publishing books and going digital, all the people who are just fanatics of just wanting to feel the copy of a book, they came out screaming, "No, you will not do that." I mean, when we talk about, we have different protests and people who are totally against something that society is trying to get rid of. When we talk about the authors and the writers and the readers and the publishers, just came out of the woodwork and just said, "No, you will not stop printing books. It will always be on the shelves. Books. I love books. I like to feel the touches of a book. Digital is great. All that." Oh, they came out and says, "No, you will not touch that portion of society. You can go digital all day long, but just understand there will always be a printed book, a printed copy book, because there's nothing like it. especially when you can go to the park and you're sitting down under the tree and you sitting on your blanket and you have your picnic basket filled with grapes and fruit, and you're just touching the pages of the book, and you got your highlighter and you're highlighting books and you're highlighting the important parts that's really just really juicy, so you want to reread it again because the book is delicious, it's just good. Yes, that would be me and that would be many others. The people who are writers just came out and says, no, you will not do that. You can go digital. You can have your digital copy, your ebook, yes, but we will also have the options to have a paperback or a hardback copy, which was great, in the PDF files, And I was just sitting there thinking about, and I remember when I was younger, I was thinking the best part about being a writer and having books and reading is I used to see mansions of people who had beautiful homes, and they would show their library, and the library would be huge. And, back in the day, I had an imagination. I was like, man, that would be great. Having a huge house and having this huge, big room. And I had designed my own library by having 3 levels where you had to walk up the steps, and there was the hardback copies of all the books that really just inspiration, history books, and just knowledgeable books, and it would be this huge room. And then at the bottom level, it would be a computer place with projectors where you can play old movies and history movies. Now, this is my library that I had designed in my head. And who knows, maybe I will become a millionaire this year or sometime in my lifetime. And I will create this beautiful library just so that I can have all the books and all the knowledge that I need to just go into my library or plug in a movie, given the correct history, that is the dream there. Okay. And it sounds nerdy, but actually I'm going somewhere with this. The reason why I'm talking about this subject, reading is fundamental. And so here I am. I stumbled across some information that just really just inspired me, of a writer or a person who was born in the 1800s, and I was reading some of their literature, and I just really got caught up in the way they were speaking and the knowledge that they were giving over the material. And I'm usually very impressed about writers back in the day. They provide a totally different literature or explanation about occurrences and about the history of their life. And it brings it forward to our lifestyle today. And I was really caught up in some information, and by reading someone's writing back in the 1800s, it actually answered my question that I was really wasn't seeking, but it just resonated and brought some information and knowledge to me that made me think about, back in the day and also now. And I want to talk to you all about the fundamental of reading and how sedated it could bring you into a calm and a peaceful place. Back in the day when I used to see the mansions and they had these libraries, and before preparing for this podcast today, I was thinking about reading and people who do read. Now that I'm older, I now look at things different when I see people reading. And when I hear that they read a book every day, the very knowledge of people, when people can get caught up into reading, they have this imagination, they have this knowledge base. And when you bring that knowledge base, when you're reading someone else's material based on your lineage of life, it brings it, it's like music. It's like, it has this serene type of analytical thought process that you have, and it brings so many details of narrative to make life more explainable, if that makes any sense. And and now that I look at that, I say, man, that they have so many books in the library. That means they're very knowledgeable in different categories and areas. And I also was thinking about, what does it do to me when I'm reading? It actually calms me down. It brings peace to me. It brings a serene type of mindset. It calls me to have an imagination. It calls me to be methodical in my mind. And most often, people who are readers and people who are writers and people who are publishers, most people that are writing today in these days and times, they usually publish their own books or they have somebody else's publishing. But most often, if a person is a writer, they're very methodical. They're very sensitive when they are around chaos and things that's out of order, because it takes a lot of work to be a writer. The reason why I say that, because I'm writing my first novel and I have to be in this zone in order to write. When you're writing a novel, it's almost, you have to be in these different categories. You know, when I think about people who are writing novels, I think about Tyler Perry when he's doing all these shows and these different characters. And my understanding, he's the one who's doing the writing of these different characters. It takes a certain type of a place that you have to be. And so your surroundings have to be calm and peace, because you have to be so many different people in writing a book. So you can pick up on people personalities. You can pick up on people if they're chaos and chaotic. But it's amazing how that happens. And so people who are very chaotic and just all out of just anxiety, just everywhere like that, they should read. It will calm them down. It will bring a little bit more analytical in their day, especially after dinner. Take the time out to read a chapter in a book. If you have children that is all everywhere out of place, teach them to learn to love books and to read. It totally will bring their whole demeanor into a different place during that time. I remember, and I have not always been a reader when it comes to different authors' pages, right? And I remember what really just started me off about continuously reading book after book after book. And I remember reading this book called The Firm by John Grisham. And before this book, I would read maybe a book every 3 months, maybe every 2 months. But after I had the book, The Firm by John Grisham, it was never ending. I've always had a book in my hand. That book inspired me so much because it was good. And I recommend, if you don't have books that's around the house and your children are not really into books, The Firm is a great book. And a little about him, he used to be a lawyer in Tennessee and he turned author. And most of his books are about legal systems and different scenarios about justice and all of that. And the scenarios in the books is very great. Some of his books have went to movies like The Firm. Of course, we know that a movie was made from The Firm, The Client, A Pelican Brief. Some of those are his books. But The Firm and the movie had nothing to do with The Firm and the book. The book is much more better. And I was just thinking about, if you're chaotic and chaos, a lot of people, I know you may say, I meditate, but that's good too. But meditation and you're reading a good book, there's nothing like it. It's very serene. It's very sedated. It's very melody and music to your eyes, especially when you're really into reading books. Some people love to read love novels. Some people love mysteries. Some people love, like I stated, John Grisham's books is about the legal systems, and it's a scenario, it's a storyline behind the books that he writes. Some people are into what is it, mysteries and scary books and just all these things. But it's just something about having a book in your hand. It causes your life to be in a totally different world, especially when your day have been chaotic, your day have been just stressful, and you can just like, Calgon, take me away with a book in your hand, and all of that just kind of lingers away, and now you are totally into the book and the characters and the storyline. And, some people like to drink wine when they're reading the book. Whatever, however you do it, it is the most satisfying thing you can possibly do. And, but I just wanted to say that because I'm going to just tell you, really, this is a podcast about reading is fundamental, and I was reading some inserts with Einstein today. Yeah, I know. Reading about Einstein, and I was reading about Edison, and I was reading about Nikola Tesla, and I just happened to stumble across it. I don't know why it came across it because I haven't researched him. I haven't researched any of these guys, but it just happened to just fall in my lap. And I was just consumed by it. And I discovered something by the consumption of something. And I was just taken away from the information. And maybe one day I will talk about it over the podcast. But I just want to resonate on the information before I present it to you all. But the information was so satisfying, and it resolved a lot of things of understanding about physics, because I mentioned in a previous podcast that I did not know physics. And as I was reading and understanding what I was reading about Einstein and Nikola Tesla and Edison, that may not be true. I may know a little bit about physics, and I did not realize that I did. I didn't know it was called physics from when I was understanding what I was reading many years ago. And so that is what I was thinking about. And I said, well, maybe I need to look into understanding physics, because I may understand physics and not even realize that I understand physics. I did a podcast last week about not knowing is knowing, and I'm sitting here thinking, maybe I already know this and I did not know that. And so I want to go into a little bit more in detail about knowing physics, because it really is a part of our life, our everyday life. And when I went to school, they were making it seem like physics was so hard. It was for the higher up educated people, and you got to be really smart and all of this. They scared the life out of me. And here I am just grasping this stuff now. And maybe if it was not presented to me in that way, I probably would have understood physics, and I probably been working at NASA instead of working the track record that I've worked all these years, because I'm so fascinated about the universe, and I'm fascinated about Earth, and I'm fascinated about all these different planets. It just fascinates me. But because this podcast is about reading is fundamental, I just wanted to share that today, that, reading it's like self-educated. And I know right now our school system is going through this travail because of the pandemic. But if you can bring a little mini library into your home, if you have children, and make it a exercise of fun, and they will start to like reading and understanding that, although school is not giving me the proper education, I still can educate myself by reading different novels, different people writings, and researching in history and buying the books. And what I'm basically is saying is having the reading material for your children to go and explore the different countries and the different laws of the countries, because they're not going to always be a child. They're going to grow up and probably want to travel to these different places. And one of the things of traveling to different countries, the best part is needing to understand the legal system that they have in these countries so you will be able to respect their laws. It's not, the laws are different from the United States going to Japan, United States going to Canada, United States going to China, United States going to the Bahamas. The laws are different in these different places, and it's very important that you know the laws and teaching them early and respecting the different countries, it's just so many things that you can take in different areas and understanding when you're reading and practicing that at a young age and teaching your children to respect that. And I know a lot of people probably say, this is so elementary. We already do that. I know, but I wanted to share it with you and just bring the highlights of the excitement that I was experiencing today about reading the Einsteins and Nikola Tesla and Edison pertaining to physics. I really got excited. And I know this is such a nerdy podcast this week, but I wanted to share with you all the nerdiness of reading is fundamental. But listen, you all, this is all I want to talk about today in my podcast. And I just wanted to share with you and wish you a great week. And reading is fundamental. And this is my leeway of stating that the journey is available for you if you are a reader. And it's a great book. I talk about some things. I realized I wrote about a little bit of physics and in the journey, and the reason why I said that I understood a little bit about physics and understanding a little bit about Einstein's writing. But it is in the book, The Journey. You can go to confidentpromises.com, or you can go to SoniaBuchanan.com, or you can go to our social media account and click on that one link, and it'll take you to our author page, and it'll give you all the books that I've written, including the children's books that I have on the market. But listen, you guys, this is all I have for you today. And I want you all to have a great day, have a great week, and of course, have a wonderful 2022. I wish you well. And until next time, this is your girl, Sonia Buchanan, with the Sonia Buchanan Show, where we inspire one life, one smile at a time. Until next time.
Oh my God, I gotta tell you, I was having a moment and I decided to surf the net. And that's when I came across this website called Comforting Promises, which is a great website, by the way. And get this, on the website was a featured book called The Journey by Sonia Buchanan that was recently published. So I immediately downloaded the ebook on Kindle because it talked about, having faith for your life purpose. And let me tell you, the book is super great. I was so motivated to get back into the game, pursuing my goals. And you gotta get the book because it's worth the read.
Thank you for joining our podcast today. The podcast was produced and edited by Sonia Buchanan. For more information about the host, you can go to SoniaBuchanan.com. For information about Confident Promises broadcast community, you can go to ConfidentPromises.com. Thank you for listening to our broadcast, The Sonia Buchanan Show, where we focus on one life, one smile at a time. Until next time, bye you guys.